Okay, we're doing good. Got it. Oleg got that final hit before I got hit. Fantastic. Time. Time for the big one. Oleg, don't run in there, mate. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, you're going to do that? That's okay, right. Oleg's going to do it. I have LEDs in my PC. There is a bit of software called LED Keeper that controls the lights in my PC. Occasionally, the easy anti-cheat software checks the programs I've got running and goes, "You're cheating!" by mistakenly picking up LED Keeper as botting software. You can Google it. LED Keeper, for some reason, literally a software designed to make the rainbow effects in my computer do what I want them to do, gets picked up as botting software by fricking everything. Sad times. Sad times. I mean, obviously it's true that the LED, the RGB in my PC does make me a better gamer. Everyone knows that increasing RGB increases your gaming skills. That was practice, that's fine. Do I think the new Souls fans wouldn't last long in Dark Souls 3? So Dark Souls 3 is a different experience to Elden Ring, but I think if you discover the Souls franchise through Elden Ring and you like it, there's a lot to love in all of the games. I mean, like I said, in one of the next Was It Good videos, I'm actually going back and playing Kingsfield. The Kingsfield 1 and 2, the Japanese one and then the US one. And even in Kingsfield, there's a lot of stuff to love. If someone... I don't want it to come across as gatekeeping. Like, if someone discovers the FromSoftware games through Elden Ring, I would hope they do go back and try their older games. Because Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3 all have a lot to love about them. I like the level design of Dark Souls 1. I think it's perfectly paced, apart from Lost Izalith. I like Dark Souls 2. I think Dark Souls 2 is a good video game, but not necessarily a great Dark Souls example. I know that people dislike it because the level design and it's a bit weird and the rolling was different and the power stancing was a bit strange, and I don't think they fully understood what a Dark Souls game was when they tried to make 2. They just thought, oh, it's a game you die in a lot. And that's never really been what it is. Controller, you want to stop? You want to respond? You want to stop doing? Nope, we're running off the cliff. Okay, that's what we're doing now, is it? Cool, good stuff. We're running off the cliff now, are we? Is that a Mad Catz controller? No, it's a good one. I can't. Hang on. We're gonna work, controller. Plug back in, and can we're gonna move now? You good? You good, controller? There we go. All right, we're good. We're good. I was not worried. I was never worried. Is it transparent? Yeah, it's transparent with green LEDs in it, because that's how cool I am. That's just who I am, you know. I think Dark Souls 1 is the best Dark Souls game. In general. Dark Souls 2 is huge and has a lot to explore, a lot to discover, a lot to like. The bosses are a bit just gut. LED Keeper, I stopped you. I literally stopped you. I went into Task Manager, I went to LED Keeper, I told you to stop. Why are you back on? This is not the vibe I want. LED Keeper is not connected to the controller, it's connected to the PC. This is not going well. LEDs are cheats, clearly. I'm using too much green in this controller. It's the build, it's too good. The easy anti-cheat software is looking at my build and going, he's clearly cheating. Without a doubt. My PC wants me to lose. Rayman 1 is definitely a de facto Dark Souls game. Yeah, Rayman 1 can... Like, it's invited to the Dark Souls Christmas parties. You know, the Rayman 1 gets on well with FromSoftware. FromSoftware and old French Ubisoft get on well together. Dark Souls is considered a castle... I mean, they call them Metroidvanias. Is it a Souls-like Metroidvania? Now, I very much do think that Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 all have stuff that you can learn to love about them. Even the janky as hell PS2 game Eternal Ring, which is one of my favourite games because of how weird it is. And then you've got Shadow Tower Abyss, Kingsfield 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even the Armored Core games, you know, they're all... FromSoftware design is very much... The game is hard, but so are you. Now, I need you to understand where I'm going with that sentence, because said out loud like that, I realize it could be taken wrongly. The game is challenging, but it gives you the tools to be just as powerful as the game. So yes, that's the quote. The game is hard, and so are you. Yeah. That's how I would review it. The game is challenging, and I am challenged. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. 100% perfect review. Don't change it. That's exactly what it needs to be. The game is challenging and I am hard. Yeah. That's... I don't make the rules. That's just how Dark Souls is. Ooh. So yeah, if you've discovered the Souls franchise through Elden Ring, excellent. Go back, play Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I mean, Dark Souls 1 is go and find 2 bells, and after you've found 2 bells, it's fancy killing these 4 people? And then after killing them all, it's, do you want to trust a big snake? And after choosing whether you do or don't trust a big snake, that's kind of the game. The plot of Dark Souls 2 is very much, we know you liked the gameplay of Dark Souls 1, so here's a really big world, please explore it. I feel that Dark Souls 2, they didn't quite get what made Dark Souls 1 so successful, and so they just made more of the game with a few changes. Dark Souls 3 was when they said, you guys like bosses. Alright, we can do that. In fact, we can do as many bosses as you want. And then just as you're getting into the rhythm, they're like, Dancer of the Boreal Valley, here you go. So Dark Souls 3 was great. Sekiro was when they went, hey, what about the weebs? We haven't made a Dark Souls for weebs yet. And Bloodborne was Dark Souls for steampunk cosplayers. I don't make the rules. That's just what it was. It was very much Dark Souls for cosplayers. Then, of course, they made Armored Core, which is Dark Souls for people that like giant mechs, and Gundam. Yeah, Dark Souls Gundam. And then they made Elden Ring, which is, I think, if anything, just a flex on the rest of the video game industry. When all the other video game kind of companies and creators were going, we can't do that, it's too big. FromSoftware were like, here's a game that's like 5 different games in one. Also, you're never going to see it all. It's absolutely huge. Would one of you drop your scythe, please? I like Elden Ring because exploring is rewarding. Yes, it really is. It really is. This is just medieval Armored Core. That's all it is. What about FromSoftware's best-selling masterpiece, Ninja Blade? I'd never played that. Anyone play... Was it Ninja Gaiden on PS2 that was really difficult? Now, I will warn you all that I actually need 2 of these scythes, so don't be excited if one of them drops, because then we need one more. I've actually been farming for the Halo Scythe on my other character, and that takes a while. The Halo Scythe is that's a slightly lower drop rate. Yes, I will be dual-wielding scythes, the Double Reaper. Oh my god, Armored Core is just Dark Souls if it were also Ace Combat. I had a PlayStation 1 demo disc with Ace Combat 2 on it, and it was just amazing. I miss demo discs. Anyone else miss demo discs? Every month you'd go and get a magazine, official PlayStation Magazine 2 or Game Informer or whatever magazine you were into at the time, and there'd be a little disc with it, and you'd go home and you'd play the demos on it, and you'd play them you'd play them to death. You'd find all the secrets in them. Some of them were timed, like you had 5 minutes to play this game, and some of them were just, here's 2 levels. God damn, man. Demo discs were the one. Kadikarus has got loads of them. I want to go to his house and steal all the demo discs at some point. That's a plan. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. It needs to... Our friendship is purely based on me ultimately just wanting to steal all of his old PlayStation magazines. So, that's between you and us, you and me. Everyone had more demo discs than actual games, man. Demo discs were the one. I really enjoyed them. There is something fun about physical media. Like, even if you could download demos of PC games every month, it wouldn't be the same, would it? It's just not the same. I try and explain to people. There is, and again, I'm going to sound like old man screams at cloud here, but my entire specialty in university was a thing called Phenomenology. And Phenomenology is the study of the human experience of an event. And it's the idea that every small aspect of an event is just as important as the main event. It all adds up to a whole, if you will. So let's say that I want to give you a demo of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And it's just a download link. Well, how did we used to get the demos? You'd have to go to the shop, either you or your parents or an older sibling. You'd have to get the magazine, you'd bring it home, you'd tear the wrapping off, you'd get the little square disc holder, you'd open up the diskette, you'd stick the disc in. The demo, it spins. Remember the demo menus used to spin? All that kind of stuff? And then you had the demo music in the background. You'd choose one of the demos from the spinning one. Even the PlayStation boot-up sound. Why do you think so many people are nostalgic for the PlayStation boot-up sound? Because that was part of the experience of playing on that console. And when you take all of that away, bit by bit, even if you leave the core of what it is, it's almost like leaving the central bit of a jawbreaker, the bubble gum, but you take away all the outer layers and say to someone, well, it's the same thing. No, it's not. There was actually a lot of context around it, even practical, physical, experienced context that made the thing special. Demo discs were special not just because you got to play a demo of the game, but because the entire experience of playing that demo was almost ritualistic unto itself. Turning on a Game Boy Advance and hearing the little pop-up sound, starting Super Mario 64 and hearing the It's a Me Mario, that's the stuff that becomes iconic. The more of that you take away, even you're shaving little tiny bits of the experience off. And even if you can't point to any specific bit of the experience and say this is the core of it, the core of it does change without all of that. I think it's a shame. And it's these experiences, these almost shared, they're not necessarily difficulties, they're just shared time sinks, if you will. The shared time sink is what you then bond over. I mean, someone in chat just said, the sound of dial-up internet. If you were to say to a kid now, what does the internet sound like? What does it sound like? I mean, I don't have kids. I'm not interested in having kids at all. But if you're in the chat and you've got kids, or, you know, you work at a school or whatever, what do kids think the internet sounds like? Because if you ask, I'm going to say any of us, like we're all millennials in the chat. You ask any of us, you know what the internet sounds like to a kid? It sounds like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. It sounds like that. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the TikTok songs. It sounds like Baby Shark. Whereas we all know, it sounds like a modem screaming. It sounds like some skibbity-riz Sigma. These shared experiences, these moments. How many people have done some grinding for a weapon in an MMORPG, in an offline game like this? If that grind was just, it gives you the weapon immediately, even the grind itself doesn't really have any value. But sometimes the shared time sink creates a level of community. I love talking about the philosophy and stuff like this. The reason that I was so interested in this in university was I was lucky enough to go and see Lord of the Rings, the musical, when it was in Drury Lane. It was an absolutely incredible stage musical. In fact, one of the nerdiest facts about me is so basically I purchased the CD of all of the music once I'd finished watching Lord of the Rings the musical, because I thought, this is incredible, this is not going to last because it's way too extravagant and it's not got the global reach it needs, but it's absolutely amazing. So I bought the CD of all of the music, and I've still got it somewhere. There is a song that Legolas sings called Lothlorien, about his homeland, and the song in the Lord of the Rings the musical is in Elvish. So I learnt the song by listening to it and just phonetically remembering it. I don't know what the words mean, but I know all of the syllables in the song. And if you play the song, you know, I can literally talk along to it. I can't remember the exact tune of it, but it's Lorien are ablai karata onex sene sene forde enea eata or Lorien lare or Lorien lare. And then it's that repeated. You can go and find it online. It's those exact words. But that was one of the nerdiest things I ever did, and I connected with a friend by saying, oh, by the way, I can sing in Elvish, but I don't know what the words mean. And then we sat down and kind of got like an Elvish dictionary and worked it out. But when I went to go and see Lord of the Rings the musical at Drury Lane, in the foyer before the play began, there were a load of actors. Got one of the sides. There were a load of actors dressed up as their characters, and the hobbits had the trick magical thumbs, and you put the thumb over the end of your thumb cap and you squeeze it and a little LED light turns on, you squeeze it again, it turns off. So they were pretending to catch fireflies. They were like fireflies dancing around the room, and they would jump up and squeeze and it would grab and they'd look like they have it, and then it would fly away and they would fling it, and as they flung it away, an LED on the wall would kind of react at the same time and it would fly away. It was brilliant. It was an incredibly immersive experience, and I just kind of sat back and I thought, why doesn't every theatre show do something like that? Why can't we have immersive experiences like this more? And the answer was, Phenomenology is both difficult and expensive. That kind of stuff. So then to me, everything was about phenomenology. Everything was about, right, it's not just me playing Elden Ring. It's me playing Elden Ring with a stupid build at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, with my camera in the same position all the time, with a controller that has see-through LEDs in it, you're grinding for a weapon that isn't even that good. It's not just me playing a game. Nothing about streaming is just someone playing a game. Nothing about YouTube is just a video. It's all connected as part of the experience of it. And that just spoke to me on a performance-based emotional level. That spoke to me. And if you want to know the power of phenomenology, as opposed to just experiencing something as and when, the human experience of an event. How many of you watched The Simpsons on TV? I don't mean on demand. I don't just mean buying the DVDs. I mean The Simpsons on TV. When it was on. Now for me, that was Sky 1 or Channel 4, 6 o'clock. And it was sponsored, I remember, by Domino's Pizza. Because there was always a Domino's Pizza advert as soon as the commercial breaks started, and as soon as the commercial break. It was after The Weakest Link on TV, and there'd be that moment in the household where you'd shout back, you know, it's starting, and whoever was making a cup of tea, they've got to get back to the TV in time. I know, I'm sounding like Old Man Screams at Cloud here, but when you look back, do you realise how important that ritual, that level of ritual was for the experience? Why do you think going to the cinema with friends to experience something with your mates is so much more fun than just watching a film by yourself? It's all of that. Now, some people, like Dean, you don't care for the ritual, you were just consuming the content. That's totally fine. But for most people, the phenomenology, the experience of the event changes, and memories are created strongly because of the entire context around it. Yeah. We've seen an example recently. If I say Raid Shadow Legends How many of you just instantly think, oh god, those adverts on YouTube? That has become a cultural icon, for better or worse. You know it. It sounds silly, but you do know it. The human experience of that event, we all come together. We all hate the idea of skibbity riz, but we all know it. I mean, yeah, obviously, as soon as an advert starts, everyone just skips 30 seconds to a minute into the video. If you do what I do on YouTube, as soon as an advert starts, you go to the little timeline and you just follow the tracking until you see the spike in where viewership is, which is, yeah, obviously everyone's jumping forward to this time code. That's what it is. Aren't memes? Yeah, they are, without a doubt. Memes are a collective shared human experience. There's a reason we all kind of share them together. It's why The Great Wall, starring Matt Damon, is one of your favourite bad movies. Did you go and see it with the right people? Some friends went to see it, the only ones in the theatres, so you just made a commentary on it. Yeah, and it's that stuff, that shared experience of doing it. One of our goals is to create an immersive experience the moment you walk in the lobby. Yeah, without a doubt. It's why, when I go to conventions, I always make sure that I'm wearing the white shirt and waistcoat. I'm not wearing them now because it's bloody boiling, but I will do as soon as the temperature has dropped slightly. Because even having a uniform, as silly as it sounds, is part of the creation, not necessarily of a character, but of a shared experience. It's weird, isn't it? I miss demo discs because I miss the shared experience of having them. And you can say that this is just waxing poetic or nostalgic about old times, but there was definitely a different vibe when on the playground at school someone had Pokemon Red and Blue and someone had found out how to get Mew, or someone had found out how to do the missing no glitch, or someone's uncle did work for Nintendo. Notice as well how all of our urban legends tends to be built around stuff that we can't find or prove. So the old urban legend of Mew is under the truck could only really spread before the internet kind of became, you know, super common and everyone could just work out that actually it wasn't there. What kind of urban legends do we have now? Why do you think people are so obsessed with analog horror on YouTube? Slender Man, stuff like that. Urban legends that have been created. And why is it so much scarier to have a haunted videotape instead of a haunted Blu-ray disc? And I think it's because on some level people understand... Yeah, second grave sigh, there we go. On some level people do understand the value of physical media. GTA cheat codes, but you'd have them written down on paper. L1, R1, L1, R2, up, down, left, right, triangle, square, circle, I think was the jet. Don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure, but back when I played San Andreas, my god, man, I had all those codes memorized. You know you did too. If you played those games, you absolutely know you had those codes memorized, man. What's the immortality code for Doom? I mean, who played... I had a game, a platform game on PlayStation called Pandemonium. And anyone else play Pandemonium? I need to make a video on Pandemonium at some point because it was weird. Like, the first game was great. The second game was really strange. Like, the second Pandemonium game went off the rails in its weirdness. But I do remember that Born Free and Never Die were the two codes you needed to unlock every level and all the health. That was great. I love that kind of stuff. But those... I mean, my dad came home one day and he was like, I've got a code for Pandemonium. Because we didn't have a computer at home, but he had a computer at work, and he had been using it to look up cheat codes for the PlayStation games that we were stuck on. That can't happen as much when the spread of information is now much more superfluous. Playing Dragon Fable on the school computers. I remember it, man. I remember it. How old are we all now? Are we all just really old now and ancient? I think we're old and ancient. I'm sorry, but we got old, guys. It did happen. Happens to the best of us. Where's the bow? I need a bow. There it is. We use the longbow and the arrows to farm. Do I have any golden fowlfoot? Don't you dare crash, game. I know you thought about it. You thought about it a little bit just there. Old enough that going to the gym isn't optional. That's very... Guys, go to the gym. Okay, if you're young enough and strong enough and capable enough, go to the gym. Because when you are older, you will look back and think, oh my God, thank God I went to the gym. You genuinely will. That will happen. Can you speak up? My hearing ain't what it used to be. Guys, drink water and go to the gym. Delete the lawyer. Hit Facebook. Gym up. Best advice we can give you. Found my long lost joy. Started playing Adventure Quest Worlds. That was LED Keeper again. I am not running LED. It's not on the controller. Okay. Let's try this again. The game keeps crashing because it picks up LED Keeper as... Do I have a MySpace account? Even cooler, I had a Bebo account. Remember Bebo? Hell yeah. Bebo was the one. Let's just end LED Keeper so it stays ended, and then launch Elden Ring and see what happens. Bebo was great. You know what's really weird is I saw a comment on Twitter saying it'd be really cool that we could customize our Instagram homepages or profiles that when people visited them, it would play a song, or we could arrange the elements on our Instagram profiles or TikTok profiles to look more custom. And I thought, we're evolving backwards. We had all that. MySpace, Bebo, we had all of that. That's not new. That's not new at all. You don't wish that happened. That did happen. It was amazing. It was perfect. Everything about the top 8 friends was perfect social conditioning distilled down into 8 people. And if you had an argument with your friend, well, they lost that spot. They were no longer in your top 8 friends. Facebook used to just be a selection of things that you would post and your friends would post, and if you didn't follow them, you wouldn't see what they posted. That's just how it used to be. Now it's everyone else being angry. Remember Tom from MySpace? We were all friends with Tom from MySpace. I still remember the moment that I realized I was a leet computer hacker. And you know that I'm old because I still say leet, which is spelt 1337. I was a leet computer hacker when I played IMVU, Instant Messaging Visual Unit. Who else played IMVU? Because I saw all those banner ads on the side for it. I played IMVU. You make your own little avatar, you build your own little room, you go and visit other people's rooms, little social hangout slots. Well, I spent some virtual currency, not that I paid for, but I earned in the game by doing little tasks, to purchase the song, which one was it? I think it was Die Another Day, from the James Bond film, that would play on my IMVU room whenever someone joined it. So I would be super cool. I'd be hanging out there in my IMVU room. I'd have people pop in and join and say hi. They'd say ASL, which obviously, as we all know, the correct answer is 14F Cali, because that's just how you answered ASL back in the day. And then people would hear that song, and I thought I was cool. How many of you can actually remember any of the stuff that I'm currently talking about? I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon that I got from a cereal box. That's where true people got their games from. Roller Coaster Tycoon and Theme Park Hospital from a frickin' cereal box. That's what it was, man. Dave, I am 35 and I haven't got a clue. Dave, don't lie. You clearly know exactly what I'm on about. 14F Cali just took some of you on an absolute memory lane trip. Oh, you guys... The old internet. Habbo Hotel. Bebo. Part of me wants to say, oh, what happened to the old internet, man? The other part of me doesn't want to know. Like, I feel this is one of those things where ignorance is probably best. I'm going to assume it was all fine. All the old internet celebrities, I'm just going to guess they're all great people, and they all went on to have lovely lives, and everything about them's fine. Don't question the narrative. Right, time to level all of these weapons, these scythes up to maximum, and you're going to see what these scythes all do, because I've been using these offline, and you know what? They are brutal. They're good. Theme Park Hospital was great. It really was. Oh, game lag slightly. Question, guys. Has anyone seen the Borderlands movie yet? I haven't. I'm kind of wondering, do I need to? What's a better use of my time? Going to watch the Borderlands movie or just playing Borderlands again? I'm hoping I can just play the game again and not really miss much. I don't think Hollywood gets video game adaptations. I don't think it does. Just play Borderlands 2. Yeah, that'll work. I'll play Borderlands 2 instead. Sit and do nothing, probably a better use of the time. I have been playing this game all day, and it's crashed from LED Keeper once. On stream, it's so far crashed, what, 4 times? I do not get why it is crashing this often. Okay, I just booted it up and it crashed while it was loading. Let's just go with properties of LED Keeper and choose to just never launch it. Ever. Yeah, let's just pop into the file location of it and choose don't run on launch. That would be absolutely great. Have I tried turning it off and on again? That's what I'm doing now. What is that? LED Keeper. It is a piece of software that controls the lights in my computer, because my computer is rainbow. So there's loads of LEDs and loads of lights going on inside, because RGB makes me as a gamer better. It allows me to have more frames in the game. Have I tried being such a cheater? It's obviously all of those cheat software things that I downloaded. While I was downloading more RAM earlier, I also downloaded a load of programs to give me some extra Robux and to make my PC run faster. And now I've got a cool little gorilla, little purple gorilla that walks along the bottom of my desktop. That's pretty cool. He was great. I've installed a couple of toolbars as well. My internet browser now looks a bit better. The internet is a bit smaller, but the toolbars are good. One of the toolbars automatically lets me send e-cards. Who here once downloaded a toolbar to send an electronic mail e-card to add emojis onto them? Josh, you need to cosplay Handsome Jack. I would do it. I would absolutely do it. Toolbars were a thing where you could just download spyware. It was a lot easier to download spyware back in the day. The great thing was, back in the day, spyware came with fun stuff. Like Purple Place. Or the Bob the Builder game. Or some knockoff Pokemon stuff. Whelming Josh, cousin of Handsome Jack. Oh. Yeah, back when the entire top half... I actually can't browse the internet now unless the top half of my browser is all toolbars with multiple search bars in it. I need to ask Jeeves about a lot of stuff, and if I don't have a toolbar to do that, how am I going to do it? Yeah? How am I going to find the Google result if I can't Bing it first? How do I Yahoo for this? I mean, you guys might not understand, but browsing the information superhighway required a Netscape account. Good old download Limewire. I remember giving my PC the first virus I ever gave it. And I felt like I was breaking so many laws. I don't even know if my mum knows this. Back when I was a little rapscallion, little terror, if you will, I was a bit of a rebel, a bit of a bad boy. I used to find signs that said no loitering, and I would loiter. For a bit, not for long, obviously, and I'm not crazy. Just enough that the establishment understood where it stood with me. I read in a magazine that the Robbie Williams song, Rock DJ, had a music video which featured him taking off his skin. Now, I didn't have MTV at the time, so I couldn't confirm nor deny this. But I had the internet, and I had Limewire. So I found and downloaded the music video for Rock DJ. And when my mum asked what I was doing, I, in my perfect, super suave spy way, simply said I was downloading a Robbie Williams song. And she didn't ask any follow-up questions, but I then did that stupid kid thing where you offer more information which makes it seem even more suspicious. You know when kids do that thing where they walk into a room and go, I didn't break anything. And you're just sat there thinking, I didn't think you did, but now I'm definitely certain you did. Because otherwise you wouldn't have thought to say that. So I was downloading the Robbie Williams Rock DJ song, and my mum walked in and went, what are you doing? I went, I'm downloading Robbie Williams videos. There's no sex. And she kind of just stared at me like, why would you offer that as context? That's not... And then I understood, you know what? By saying that, if anything, it's more suspicious. And she kind of stared at me and then left, because I was a weird kid. And then I opened the file. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that there was a difference in an MP4 file and a .exe file. But apparently the .exe were the bad ones. So I opened it and I'm like, this isn't a music video at all. This is just making my PC go a bit slower. And you know what? I never did get to watch the video for Rock DJ. And then I saw it on YouTube many years later and I thought, that really wasn't worth all the effort, to be honest. Really wasn't worth it. Napster and... Oh my god, Napster. Did it have sex? Didn't even have sex. It didn't. Straight up no sex whatsoever. Robbie Williams disappointed me that day. He let me down. He really did. I think he knows. Part of me thinks he understands. And he knows that what he did was wrong. He let me down. There was no sex, but in a way, the computer did get fucked. That's true. It really was.